Hello, fellow African. Thank you for the opportunity to share my concerns about the future of Africa, heart to heart with you. My name is Dr. Nonyerem Davidson. In the 1980s, the Arabs registered their presence with Dubai City. Yesterday, with the Hope Mission to Mars, they sent a message of hope to all Arabs, inspire Arab kids, and change the way the world looks at the desert people. Indians, too, have registered their presence and sent a clear message to the world. The question is, where is Africa and the Africans? Look, feedback from my earlier video, Who Did This to Us, states overwhelmingly that majority of Africans wish to see change desperately. So please, permit me to start by painting a picture of the Africa we need to reconstruct urgently. Of course, the focus of my organization, the United Progressive Africa Foundation, UNIPAF. Hundreds of years ago, Europeans arrived to explore Africa. They met wealth and a people with high moral values, virtually crime and corruption free, and no beggars. Soon they discovered that African people, their cultural and educational heritage, was the backbone and a huge defense against conquest. Over several years, these were tactically, deliberately, and systematically destroyed by the colonial powers, paving way for divide and conquer, slavery, colonization, genocide, corruption, and entrenched poverty we see today. The color of the African was deliberately stigmatized and associated with something worthless, evil, uncivilized, and degrading, such that if today Jesus Christ, Abraham, and Moses were to turn up in their original skin color, African Christians may not recognize them. Check the Oxford Dictionary's definition for black and white, and note the burden imposed on being tagged black. Africans were conditioned also to view all things foreign, English, German, and French, as good and greater than anything African. We lost self-esteem, native self-culture, and became a truly dominated peoples, nations, and continent. Today, the youths, politicians, rich and famous, think and act Gucci, Adidas, Rolls-Royce, Apple, dollars, Dubai, America, and Europe. Africa is left broke, barren, and bankrupt, losing capital for things that add no value to the society. Well, the World Bank is warning that Africa may be home to 90% of the world's poor in the next 9 years, a looming catastrophe we cannot afford to ignore. Until we restore faith in our values, cultures, and educational heritage, peace, progress, and prosperity will remain an illusion, irrespective of abundance of natural resources and academic qualifications in Africa. From the scars of the Arab and European slavery, genocide, and colonization, to multinationals' exploitation of Africa, apartheid, and xenophobia in South Africa, kneeling on the neck of African Americans in the US, and the brutal and senseless slaughter of indigents and servants of God in Nigeria, Mother Africa cries freedom, peace, security, and progress consistently. Slavery has returned with vengeance on our watch. African governments remain silent. The question is, will Asia, Europe, and America stand by and watch their race enslaved and organ harvested? Never. On another front, the unabating looting of our treasury, incompetent and visionless leadership, tribalism, unemployment, insecurity, starvation, and poverty are humiliating the African child with severe consequences for the future. Our youths, the future leaders, with no access to factors of production, are so impoverished that crime remains the only option for survival. Yet we wonder why their conscience, birthright, and loyalty can be purchased with chicken change. Our politicians, their conscience, patriotism, and oath of office can be neutralized with US dollars, red carpet reception, and worldly pleasures. Yet we wonder why the African race is ridiculed across the world and remaining poor despite abundant natural and human resources. Our intelligentsia is cowed to silence with fear, intimidation, tribal loyalty, and political appointments. Yet we wonder why it remains uneducated despite mountains of university degrees. Each time one fights for African rights, survival, peace, and progress, only one hand is fully active because the other is busy shielding from fellow Africans, fighting and sabotaging the efforts. This is a big challenge, and these are serious behavioral challenges facing Mother Africa and which must be addressed urgently if we are to progress like other races. Therefore, strategic and sustained mindset transformation programs offer a long-term solution, and hence our movement, UNIPAF. Africans need to develop inquisitive and independent mindset. Those of us who volunteer our time and service do so not because we're rich, have spare times, free from personal challenges, or in search of recognition. Far from that. We're driven by the challenges facing our race, continent, nations, and peoples, and a firm belief that Africa must and can liberate itself with own citizens. You see, we draw inspiration from our heroes. Now, for a moment, just close your eyes and imagine an Africa without the creativity, vision, brilliance, and painful sacrifice of the young and charismatic Julius Nyerere of Tanzania, Osagyefo Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe and Chief Obafemi Awolowo of Nigeria, Steve Biko, Madiba Rohilela Nelson and Mama Winnie Mandela of South Africa, Jomo Kenyatta of Kenya, and Dr. Kenneth Kaunda of Zambia. Here's a question for you. What life will you be living right now in that Africa? Where will Rwanda, the shining example in Africa today, be without the vision, unique governance, and determination of President Paul Kagame, who consistently demonstrates that Africa can, with the right leadership, a matching political system, and a reprogrammed national mindset? You see, it is now our turn to shape a better future for the next generation. We need experts of Africans to join us, particularly in the areas of education design, human behavior modification, leadership, political and governance systems. Most importantly, we need African professionals, students, market women, and business people to join us in agreeing and preaching the mantra, enough is enough. Enough is enough. Moreover, advancements in science and technology can threaten weaker countries. For example, food can now be genetically modified to target particular ethnicities. Biological weapons are now readily deployed at will. For example, HIV, Ebola, and COVID-19. Governments and powerful individuals have depopulation agendas for the African race. You see, in view of our ugly history, African scientists must unite to research agricultural, health, economic, education, political, and technological issues for African-tailored solutions. We need African business persons and philanthropists who understand the urgency of this moment in our history to support scientific research and our vision and projects for Africa. We look up to the likes of the British Sudanese Mo Ibrahim, Mrs. Florencio Alakija, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and Innocent Chukwuma of Nigeria. We look up to Patrice Motsepe of South Africa, ex-President Ian Kamoto of Botswana, and Lady Graça Michel of Mozambique. Now, let me remind us, racism is now more about economics, value-adding capabilities, privileges, and power. So to be African and beautiful means nothing to the world. We must be African and economically and technologically powerful, meaning our productivity, world influence, survival, and quality of life depend greatly on changing our mindsets, electing patriotic, productive leaderships, developing unique education and political systems for Africa, and turning Africa into a controller of resources, manufacturing, and exporting hub. Let me assure you, in Africa we have the capacity to transform, prosper, and deliver freedom with responsibility. Europeans are not born white but Caucasians. So, for the same reason Europeans tag themselves white, we must refuse to be tagged black. Please join us wholeheartedly and volunteer your talent, service, and financial support. Share this message to reach every African on this planet. Africans, arise, be in control. Think and act African. For who controls Africa controls the world. I thank you.